Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, an embattled official defends his order to import sugar.
There is a clear indication of the rapidly diminishing supply of sugar.
But some groups are questioning the move.
Sa tingin namin may tinatago and dapat malaman natin.
Congressmen move to turn the inquiry into a full-blown investigation.
Lahat po ay magte-take oath sa Thursday. Everybody should come here in person. Hindi ho pwedeng proxy, hindi ho pwedeng online.
House Committee on Good Governance and Public Accountability Chairperson Congresswoman Florida Robes joins us live. And later, a lawmaker is pushing for a national unemployment insurance program. Marikina Representative Stella Quimbo also joins us in the show. A lawmaker is pushing for a national unemployment insurance program. It aims to provide aid to displaced workers for 3 months. But who will shoulder the cost, and will this hurdle Congress? Let's go straight to the source of the story, Marikina City 2nd District Representative Stella Quimbo. Congresswoman, it's good to see you again. Welcome back to the source.
Good morning, Pinky.
So I read the article on this, and it was quite interesting. This was obviously born out of what happened during the pandemic, wherein millions either lost their jobs or had to take in a fraction of their salary because of, well, the issues hounding the pandemic. What was the driving force aside from the pandemic, and how important is this now?
Well, obviously, the pandemic was really the main driver. So I filed this shortly after the pandemic started, when millions lost their jobs. And when you lose your job, Pinky, you literally fall off the edge of a cliff. So if you're a minimum wage earner and you make 11,000 pesos per month, that's maybe just enough to feed your family. So when you lose your job, literally magugutom ang pamilya mo. And so when this situation happens, then a lot of social problems arise, because obviously families don't have savings, so they'll have to rely on their family, neighbors, and eventually the government will have bigger problems. Like, for example, in a situation where they need to buy maintenance drugs, for example, and they won't be able to do that, then obviously your public health system at a certain point can become congested. So there's really a lot of social costs arising from massive unemployment. So this was the main inspiration for that bill.
And that's so true, no? The domino effect of that. In practical terms, really a minimum wage earner takes home, you're right, about 11,000 pesos. Kung one earner lang po yung one income family yon, mawalan po ng trabaho yung tatay o yung nanay, ubus po yung pamilya. So how does this actually work? I mentioned a while ago that it will give insurance for 3 months, but like any other bill that could be passed into law, where will you get the funds for this?
So the proposed scheme is very similar to PhilHealth, where the workers will have to contribute a small amount regularly every month. And if you don't lose your job, thankfully, well, you also have to give up the premium contributions, very similar to PhilHealth. If you don't get sick, you don't get hospitalized, you give up your premium contributions. But in a situation where you lose your job, then in return, you get 3 months salary, 80% of that actually. So if you make 11,000 or maybe 10,000, just to simplify the computation, and you lose your job, then you will get 8,000 per month for 3 months. And the premise is that in those 3 months, you will be looking for a new job.
If your inspiration, though, for this was the pandemic, that 3 months certainly is not going to be enough.
Well, maybe, yes, arguably, but then we are probably going to return to pre-pandemic levels soon. And based on pre-pandemic data, on the average, someone who loses his or her job will take about a month to find a new job. and the maximum period based again on the labor force survey of 2020, it takes about a maximum of 3 months
I see.
to find a new job. So
Okay.
that's why I pegged it at 3 months.
Right, there's a study behind this. All right, so that's good to know. In a month, hopefully makahanap ka na ng trabaho, and in 3 months, dapat, parang gano'n, dapat may trabaho ka na in 3 months.
Yes, dapat meron na.
Pero Congresswoman, what about yung pakiramdam ng tao, nako, ito na naman, maghuhulog na naman kami para sa unemployment insurance program. How can the people be encouraged to do this?
Well, two things. For somebody making 11,000 pesos per month, what you will contribute is 44 pesos per month. Okay, so that's arguably a reasonable amount for a good night's sleep. Makakatulog ka sa gabi knowing that kung mawalan ka ng trabaho bukas, merong sasampot sa'yo na programa. And number two, this is a program where I am proposing tripartite sharing. So unlike PhilHealth, where you share the premiums with your employer,
Opo.
in this scheme, you share your premiums with both the employer and government.
Oh, I see.
So may kahati kang dalawa, government and the employer.
So sorry, just to be clear, para sa government workers lang ho ba ito?
Now this is for actually when I filed it originally, it's for all workers, both government and private sector employees. But during the committee hearings, it was pointed out that maybe the government employees don't really need protection because when you're a government employee, meaning you have a plantilla position, there's a very, very low chance that you will lose your job. And so that was a proposal. Why don't we limit this to private sector employees?
Okay. What is 44 pesos of 11,000? That would be about what, 0.04% of the... one-twelfth of 4.5%. Okay. Hirap nun ah. 1/12 of 4.5%.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why mas madaling maalala yung 44 pesos for every 11,000.
And then it's 44 pesos. Let's just stick to that, no? So I was trying to compute it. It's if I'm not mistaken, it was about 0.04%. I don't know if that's very, but
Yes.
we're on
Yes.
the more
Yes.
or less math here. And then ano ho ito? Forever? Ganun ho ba yun?
Yeah, so it's pretty much like PhilHealth. Parang pumupusta ka na mawawalan ka ng trabaho. So yung pusta mo is 44 pesos a month. Kung natalo ka sa pusta, ibig sabihin hindi ka nawalan ng trabaho when you lose your 44 pesos. Pero kung nanalo ka sa pusta, ang makukuha mo is 80% of your monthly salary for 3 months.
Right. If it's 10,000, you get 8,000 pesos. Ito yung
Yes.
pustahan na gusto mo matalo ka eh. Ayaw mo manalo dito sa
Correct.
pustahan na to. Okay, how does it work?
Pero at least makakatulog ka sa gabi. I mean, that's the point.
That is true. That is true, especially actually for everyone who wants some sort of security that you get 3 months of your salary. Is there a maximum, Congresswoman, by which people can avail of this? I mean, even high-income workers, pasok din ho ba dito yung mga kumikita ng malaking pera?
Well, pasok din ito, which is why your contribution, kaya medyo complicated yung formula, Pinky. Kasi it really depends on your salary. Kaya lang kasi karamihan naman ng kababayan natin are minimum wage earners, kaya lagi kong sa pag-explain, 11,000, 44 pesos. But if you make 44,000, so ang ihulog mo is more or less about 170 pesos.
Buwan-buwan. Who will...
Oo, yes. Mas malaki. Kung mas
Siyempre.
malaki yung sweldo mo, mas malaki yung payout sa'yo, mawawalan ka ng trabaho,
Opo.
80% of 50,000, mas malaki din ang hulog mo.
Right. Congresswoman, do you think that people will be encouraged to do this knowing, I mean, especially now, no, with the inflation, the rise in prices of goods and services, people are still trying to find jobs. There are about 2.99 million who are unemployed at the moment. Is it the right time for this bill?
I feel like, especially now, kasi naramdaman ng marami kung ano ang consequences na mawalan ng trabaho. Yun nandyan yung hindi mo mapapakain pamilya mo, nandyan yung magda-drop out ang anak mo. Tapos, kung makahanap ka ng trabaho in 3 months, makakapag-enroll sila next year na. Ibig sabihin nun, 1 year delayed ang start ng productive life ng anak mo. Nandyan din yung postpone ng lahat ng health bills mo. Nandyan din yung from the government's perspective, nandyan ang rising criminality, etc. So talagang ang dami niyang, as you said earlier, Pinky, ang daming domino effect. So tingin ko, now more than ever, mas nagiging real yung problema ng mawalan ka ng trabaho na hindi mo kasalanan, katulad ng pandemic.
The only difference I see regarding this is, let's say, you liken it to a health insurance. The thing is, with a health insurance, let's say PhilHealth, for life yon, hindi ho ba? Magkakasakit ka, magkakaroon ka. Ito din naman, for life. Meron ho ba tong time period na, ay nakakuha ka na ng 3 buwan, tapos ka na? Ganun ho ba yon? Or is it updated every year or every 2 years? How does this actually work?
So similar to PhilHealth, it's an annual cycle. So here, as long as you're able to contribute a minimum of 6 months for the year, you can now avail. So in short, if you look at it, so 6 months, you contribute, and then you lose your job, let's say in the 6th month, and then you're able to avail of 3 months worth of your salary. And then, suppose minalas ka ulit.
Opo.
Pero kapag nakapaghulog ka ng another 6 months after your first payout. So, in short, the assumption is yung unemployment spell mo is about, or your employment period mo is about 15 months. So parang protected ka for 15 months.
But,
parang ganon.
Congresswoman, could this be abused?
So, yes. So this is the main, if you talk to any economist, they will agree that this is a wonderful idea. But the drawback is a problem called, the technical word is moral hazard. It can be abused. Ibig sabihin, kapag masyadong mahaba yung period na tumatanggap ka ng benefits from the program, pwede kang tamarin sa paghahanap ng trabaho.
Totoo.
So, and that's the reason for why it's tricky yung pag-determine kung ilang buwan ka tatanggap. And that's why talagang it has to be evidence-based. That's why I set it at 3 months based on the survey. And in those 3 months, tutulungan ka ng programa na maghanap ng trabaho. So merong job placement and at the same time, very important na merong training at retooling programs. So meron din tulong yung programa para to ensure na after 3 months, meron ka na talagang trabahong bago.
I see. Kasi what I was thinking, I don't know if this is right though, I'll have to admit, tatrabaho po ako ng 6 na buwan. Magbabayad po ako dito. On the 7th month, matatanggal ako sa trabaho for one reason or another. Oh, by the way, is there supposed to be a reason na pasok as qualifier to be able to get this 3-month payment? I ask that because kung gusto ko po, 6 na buwan lang ako magtatrabaho, aalis ako ng trabaho, bayad ako ng 3 buwan. Hanap ulit ako ng bagong trabaho, aalis ako on the 7th month, mababayaran naman ako ng 3 buwan. That's why doon po pumasok yung can this be abused? Are there qualifiers, considerations before one can avail of the insurance package?
Yes, that's very important, Pinky. Ang pinaka-important qualifier is mawawalan ka ng trabaho, hindi mong kasalanan. So hindi pwede yung voluntary quits. Ito yung mawawalan ka ng trabaho na hindi mo kasalanan. Example, pandemic. Nagsara yung kumpanya mo dahil hindi na talaga nila kayang itawid ang business. One day you wake up and your employer closed shop. So ganon. That is, I guess, the most concrete example today kasi maraming dumaan sa ganon.
Opo. Nagsara po yung business, sigurado po makakakuha sila ng insurance. Pero magkakaroon din po yan ng problema. For example, sa employment mo, doon sa inyong organization, di ba, kaya nga po may HR, etc. Pwede rin, may conflict between the employer and employee. Baka maging masalimuot po kaya yon to be able to avail of this insurance program. Kasi parang you're saying, kailangan hindi ka nag-resign. Tama ho ba? Kailangan hindi ikaw nag-resign.
Yes. So ito is losing your job and it's not because of your fault. And this is a standard clause in the labor code. So tingin ko, kabisado na ng mga HR kung paano ito pinapatupad. So, yung mga examples dito nga is yung pagsasara. Or number 2, kung halimbawa, Pinky, nagkaroon ng modernization program yung kumpanya, ang ginawa niya, siguro robots na lang ang gusto niyang
Opo.
gamitin para sa pag-produce. So that's another example. Bukas pa yung kumpanya, pero hindi mo kasalanan dahil nagbago ng teknolohiya yung
I see.
employer.
Opo. Or right sizing, hindi ho ba? Kapag
Right,
nag-right
exactly. I was
sizing.
about to say, Pinky.
Yeah.
At that's why nung time na tinake up namin to sa committee, wala pa sa table ang right sizing. So sabi ng mga government employees, hindi namin kailangan siguro yan dahil wala kaming risk of losing their job. Pero ngayon na merong right sizing at baka
True.
merong ilan na redundant agencies ang ma-abolish, baka merong kaunting risk din.
And the
So
more
baka may willingness na rin to pay.
Right. And the more important question, who will take care of the funds? Which organization will this be? We'll be asking Congresswoman Stella Quimbo that right after the break. We will be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Pinky Webb. Our source today, Marikina Representative Stella Quimbo. Congresswoman, again, the more important question, who's going to take care of the funds?
So at the transitional phase, the proposal is to have the SSS take care of the funds. But eventually, it's very important to have a separate GOCC to take care of the fund. Mahirap kasi yung commingling of funds. Hindi kasi ang SSS meron siyang ibang mandato. So gusto natin na talagang employment lang talaga at unemployment risks lang ang tutuganan na nitong field jobs. That's what I called it in this bill. So kung may PhilHealth tayo for hospitalization, meron tayong field jobs to protect us from unemployment risks.
Yeah, that's what I read. It was called, is it a Phil Jobs, ma'am? Phil Jobs, ho ba? Parang Philippine Jobs.
Yes.
Philippine Jobs Act.
Yes.
And then there will be a national, parang there will be a body, an organization that will take care of the funds kung saan po ipapasok ng mga employer yung kanilang monthly contribution.
Yes. Meaning it's really a separate fund altogether.
And what's important here, of course, is to be able to, for this money or fund, to serve the purpose of those that will probably need the insurance, is to be able to invest the money the proper way. Have you thought about this? And sino ho ba dapat ang bubuo nitong organization that will take care of the funds?
So I introduced some language in the bill on how the reserves, yun ang i-invest natin, Pinky. Kasi whatever you contribute to the fund at merong matira after you pay out all the benefits, that is what's going to constitute the reserve fund. And over the years, lalaki yan. It's very important that yung reserve fund na yan ma-invest properly. So I took parang the best practices in various agencies, SSS, GSIS, as well as PhilHealth, at nilagay ko doon as part of the bill to ano yung mga guidelines or kung paano ma-invest yung funds. Like, ano ba dapat yung minimum amount, saan ka pwede lang maglagay, so very safe instruments, etc.
Okay. Congresswoman Stella Quimbo, ma'am, thank you. Let's talk about this more if you get, pag-usapan na po talaga sa Kongreso because this could be very interesting and maybe time also to encourage the people kung meron pa silang extrang maibigay dito sa insurance. Congresswoman Quimbo, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Pinky.
And we will be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned.